Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal Lynn, Chrystal Lynn Astrology, coming to you from Southern California. And I'm just coming on this evening. I've been doing some work here in my office, and I thought, looking at the chart right now, I'm absorbing this new moon, this eclipse that's happening all in Cancer. Just really thinking a lot about what's going on right now. So I just thought I'd come on for a little bit and just discuss, some different things and what's happening in the sky. So, right now, as we speak, we are entering into this new moon. It is a solar eclipse. The North Node is also in Cancer. The exact conjunction won't be until tomorrow night, but we have entered into this lineup. The other phenomenal thing that's literally happening as we speak right now is Mars is moving into Leo. It is literally like right now at 10 degrees. Not even 10 degrees, 0.10, like a tenth of a second, tenth of a minute. And this is a very, very powerful time right now. There is a lot going on. Mars moves into a sign for approximately 8 weeks. And when this happens, it really, I always say, it's like this jolt. It's like steroids from heaven, from the universe, to really give us this jolt to make changes, to have the courage to make changes, to stand on what we believe in, especially with Mars in Leo. Um, this is all about our confidence. This is when things get really tricky because we stop apologizing and we start intentionally taking back the reins in our life, really, believing in who we are, understanding our self worth, wanting to grasp our self worth. Leo is all about valuing yourself. It's all about knowing who you are, the inner diva or Devo, um, that says I deserve the good things in life. I deserve to to pursue those things. I have enough value in who I am that I should have them. So Leo is really all about the best. When you look at Leo, you look at this energy that is, branding, this is who I am. It's also about, again, standing on your own hill, standing your ground, um, embracing your queendom, embracing your kingdom. Everybody has that moment in life where, you've been given a certain amount of responsibilities in life. Um, the family that's in your life that you've come into this world connected to, your home, your job, wanting to really say, hey, wait a minute. I want to be the best. I want the best, but I have to be the best first to really expect the best. So I know it's kind of hard to talk like that because there's this other side when we look at this Cancer lineup that's really all about more of having this private place, this place to land, this security, uh, our homes, getting your homes in order, mother, women, connections, daughters, mothers, grandmothers, the women in your life that could be coming into your life right now. You could be caretaking. You could be coming to a place where, hey, we're both strong women. I'm going to stand my ground over here, and you're going to stand your ground over here, and we're going to meet in the middle. So it's a really powerful, poignant time. It's a little late right now. It's about 10:30. Um, so the other thing is that, like I said before, Mars moves into a sign for 8 weeks. Now, everybody has a Mars return, approximately 2 to 2.5 years, because it takes Mars that long to get around the sun. So right now, as we speak, I'm entering my Mars return. And like, that's why I had to kind of do this video more for myself, to just kind of say, wow, what is going on right now? To really journal my life, and to encourage you guys to journal your lives. To really ask yourself, where am I at right now? Where am I at? I've worked really, really hard. We've come a long way. Where are we at? Because this is also going to bring to the surface. It's like those hidden issues, those things that you've been afraid to take on. Um, I think that it's the fire. So what happens when fire heats up? It purifies, right? It purifies out all of the toxins, it really cleanses and purifies. But fire is dangerous. So how we use this fire is very, very important. A really good study would be to look at your chart. If you've never looked at your chart before, you don't know how to, you can email me. I'll put the link below, and I can help you navigate finding your chart. And look at where Mars, the planet Mars, was the day that you were born. That's going to tell you a lot about your passion. That's going to tell you about your aggression. That's going to tell you about your, instinct, to survive. And, it's also going to tell you to really pay attention to when that's happening up in the sky. So, like I said, I'm entering this time. Now, for me, as I like to share by example, 2 years ago, end of July or beginning of July, right about now, I entered my Mars return. And at that time, the North Node was in Leo. I also was experiencing my Chiron return and some really heavy duty changes in my life. When you actually enter into your Chiron return, which is like 49 to 51. Like, if you haven't had your Chiron return, like, I only know this because I just had it. You don't know anything. You think you do. You think you do, and you know what you know to be where you are, and you can't know any more than that until you're ready. But once you've entered that deep healing, that wounded part of you, obviously we come into this world, or the experiences we have these wounds, and when they come to the surface, I'm going to tell you right now, it can be pretty intense. And so this happened to me 2 years ago, and I shared little bits and pieces of it because I'm still really processing it, to be honest with you. I went through a very, very intense spiritual journey, and emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of those things had to be under extreme scrutiny in my life. And often you can become extremely sensitive. Many of you may look back 2 summers ago when this happened and identify with me. Like, am I crazy? Am I delusional? Am I having a nervous breakdown? And often when we see things like that, we think, oh my gosh, that person's losing it, and people want to get away from you. But it's necessary. If you can actually go there, that breakdown is breaking down the years and years and years of bondage in your life, thinking that keeps you in a cage. I say a cage, I'm thinking of Leo the lion, rattling the cage, Lions don't like to be trapped. So I'm just talking about this for all of us and myself as well. So all of these things were coming down on me at that time. And, my body just went into complete instinct and flight mode. When you get on high adrenaline, and this is what can happen with this Mars and Leo return, it's the sun, and it can be very, very high adrenaline. Okay, So I've got like this really obnoxious fly in this room. I can't even believe it. It's a big fat thing. Get out of here. Oh, I hit him. um, yeah, yeah, you have to go there to really come out on the other side a completely different person. Yet, you're taking with you your lifelong lessons. Okay? So, right now in our world, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of family things going on with Venus and Gemini getting ready to move into Cancer. Gemini is really all about our siblings, our cousins, our community, our neighborhoods, our friendships, this almost twin effect, meeting people that have really similar experiences, or you feel like you've known them your whole life, but you just met them. So we're kind of going through all of this. And this Sun, Moon, Cancer, this North Node in Cancer is really all about the moon, the luna, the mother, the ocean, the emotions, feeling what's happening around you, making decisions based on how you feel, and being okay with that. To say, you know what, um, becoming the moon in your own life, allowing yourself to get in timing with this energy. It's all over the place. And it definitely brings us to a place where we say, hey, I need to create my own home. This is also a time for homemade businesses with Venus and Gemini there. Now, Mars in Leo and Mercury in Leo. So this is a time to brand yourself this summer. It's time to get out, to break out. This is a time to roar. You can do it in a really respectful way. And that's the thing here. Respecting yourself. Respecting yourself and not allowing anyone to rattle your cage. Not allowing anyone to back you in a corner, because the lion does not like to be backed in a corner. You want anything to come out swinging, back it in the corner, and you'll really find out what's going on behind the scenes. This is also a time that people are overreacting. Anger, because the lion can really, it roars, it wants its domain. So people are really fighting for their own domain. It's kind of like, this is my family, this is my world, this is my life. And sometimes that's okay when we realize these are the responsibilities that the universe has given me. These are the things that I am taking care of in my life, the values, the people I'm investing in, your children. Like for myself, I'm in this Pluto in Virgo generation, and we're sandwiched in between because our parents now we're taking care of. And many of us in the Pluto Virgo generation have had late in life children, or still have children, or our grandchildren are our children. So you have this person in their like 45, 50s that's taking care of both ends. And yet in the middle, like, where am I? It can be a really lost feeling, because it's easy to gain, a lot of confidence when you're helping other people. You feel appreciated, you know what you need to do, dun, da, 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 But when it really comes down to who we are, our identities, Chiron right now, it will transit through a sign for about 7 years. And again, it's the wounded healer. It's in Aries. So Aries, this wounded healer is really, really working on our identities. Who we are, what we've accomplished, where you come to the table. I think a lot of us, our confidence has really been, not very good. We're looking at what everybody else is doing still through social media, Facebook, but it's all a facade. Until we really come to the place that it's all a facade. because we're really all dealing with the same stuff. Same family issues, same insecurities, same financial problems. We're all in this together, maybe in different ways. So I think we're all looking for just honesty. Cancer is really all about honesty. And, when we look at the cancer, it's this crab that wants to hide in the shell and stay protected. But at the same time, it wants to come out on the rocks and get in the sun and climb around. And, so it wants to be out as well. It's very articulate. And a lot of times with the cancer, you'll see, when they talk, they just totally become the words, the people, the mood, the conversation. I love cancers because you just start vibing with the situation with them. And so that's really what this is about. Um, Neptune is in Pisces. Lilith is in Pisces right now. Lilith in Pisces is really often the shadow side of Pisces. So the darker side that we have to look at. So there's a lot of issues coming to the surface, especially in our world, dealing with homelessness, dealing with drug addictions, dealing with children issues. Yeah, that goes into a whole nother story, but these are the things behind the scenes. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, still retrograde. So we haven't really been able to get like the keys to the car. We're kind of stuck in the garage right now. The car just won't start kind of thing. But we want to travel. We want to move out. We're ready to go. It's like, no, 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 not quite yet. Let's get you really ready, because if you jump out there and you're not really ready, not so much even maybe all your projects are ready, maybe everything's lined up. Are you ready emotionally, even for success? What does it mean? Are you ready to really be all that you want to be? We have this vision, right? And I think sometimes we have to realize, instead of, really looking at this vision that we're unhappy until we attain, to really look at where we are right now. Can we be happy with where we're at right this minute? Can we be happy in the journey? Instead of the vision, what's the calling? Because if you look at something and you see yourself, let's say you see yourself as this person, this influential person, or, getting recognition, that only lasts for a short time. And believe me, once you think you're going to get up there, everybody's going to want to knock you down. So you don't get to stay up there very long, right? So I think it's more about right now, with all of these shifts as we're moving through this eclipse. What things are we leaving behind? What things are we going to open up to? Now, usually about 10 days before an eclipse, everything in your life really comes to the surface. So what's going on? Look at what's been happening the last 2 weeks, the things that have come to the surface, the changes you've made. Maybe you've had, you've just had to admit that you've made some mistakes. You have to, take responsibility for that. The other thing about the lion is that he wants to be recognized, but he also is able to be humble. And humble is just basically being able to go, I'm human. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that, or laugh at yourself or beat yourself up a little, having empathy, having sensitivity to who you are. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between, though, being humble and humiliation or humiliated. Sometimes people think, and I mean, I've had these thoughts where it's like, who am I? How can I do anything good? Kind of this self-loathing. And I think it's dangerous because it can also be, keep us from doing our calling. And yet at the same time, we don't want to be so cocky that, I got this and, everybody watch out because I know who I am and I am who I am and nobody can attain or touch me. I think that also becomes a real turnoff, that, you know, we can lift people up, but you can go down the next day. You could be taken down. So I think, and this is just my opinion based on what's going on here, I really think that it's about really having that place to fall, having that home, having that privacy. For so long we had a camera in our hands for everything, right? Every part of our lives. And I noticed lately it's like, I don't even want to video this, even though it's super cool happening to me. I just want to absorb it and not reflect it onto something else, or how cool is it going to be? Yeah, those things, there's places for them, especially if you're in social media. But what about just capturing the feeling without, needing to video it or think how other people will feel about you? Just being there, just like being there, and just taking it in, memories like we used to have. Um, Also, part of the journey, like right now, I mean, I'm definitely a visionary. I have, Moon in Pisces, and I have my 10th house in Sagittarius. So it's like I'm always attaining or dreaming of something. Right when I kind of come to, some success at what I'm doing, I'm already on to the next thing. And it's really hard for me then to ever be happy right where I am. I always feel like I'm, just missing the mark. And I'm really working on being present. And like right now, it's like, how cool is this? I just get to come to my back office. I get to totally capture the vibe of the new moon. We get to talk about it, discuss it. Astrology is so cool because just cut to the chase. We got to be real. And I think we're looking for that now in others and the people that we admire or follow or learn from. I know that I've had a really hard time watching hardly any of my normal videos just because if there's not that feeling of just truth and reality, it's like, oh, I can't handle the pretension. It's just, you know this mirage kind of thing, but you can read right through it, and it's just like, I don't have time. I don't have time. And we're looking for something that's really that we can connect to. Um, and I think it's also about understanding our thoughts. Our thoughts have been really busy because of this Gemini energy we've been coming out of. I think that, our mind gets busy, and, we think that everything we think is to dominate our life. I think it, so I'm going to have anxiety about it, or I'm going to worry about this, or, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or overreacted. You know what? We all do it. And, I think that if we're truly striving to, rise above, that we can just have compassion for each other, not exploit each other. It's just so ugly. It's just so unbecoming anymore, just so unbecoming. And I think that, there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes in life between people, and that should stay there so that that can work out, work things out. A lot of people are afraid to step up or speak out or in just certain platforms because, they're just going to be attacked. And so, we find ourselves like, I don't go there. And then we're just kind of stuck like, okay, I'm right here. Like, what? How can I springboard off of this, And that's the whole point. We're coming to that place where, you know, at the end of the road, it's all about us. And it's all about you. No one else is going to pay your bills. Are we letting people rent out space in our mind and they're not paying rent because we're thinking about it all the time? I think that we really have to step back and just really count your blessings right now. I do that all the time. I think, wow, I have all these blessings, and most of them are just my relationships that I have with my family. How grateful my kids, my mother, my sister, my husband, we're all navigating and working hard. And yet it's natural, but, we're our little support system. And from there, when that's solid, we can support others. So you finding your tribe, finding your support system is so important. Looking for it outside of yourself, is just, it's going to be disappointing every single time. So I think we're past the point, if we can learn right now that we don't need anyone's approval. We can find this self-value within ourselves. It's like, I don't need everyone to say, oh, okay, you're doing a good job. It's like, how did I feel after that? Does that make me feel good? What does make me feel good? Set your own rules. Anything that you're thinking or putting that condemnation in your mind and being hard on yourself about, why don't you, and this is me, it's what I'm working on, so I'm just a thought, is to step back a little bit and put your thought under, under review, okay? And say, okay, is that thought true? Is that thought really going to happen? Is that thought just me? Is it my fears? Because those are the things that really can dominate us and keep us really paralyzed. Or can we kind of have this out-of-body experience? And I was thinking about this the other day. I know it's kind of weird. I think about all kinds of crazy things. But, since we are in this Neptune and Pisces energy, Pisces really represents the story of Jesus. The age of Pisces is the last 2,000 years during the New Testament. So we see the Pisces as the 12th sign, the spiritual being. I was thinking about Jesus, okay, in the stories that we read. And, here he proclaimed to be from heaven, to be God in a human body. And he had to pay taxes. He had to walk with his feet. He had to get thirsty. He had to deal with overwhelming people trying to drain him. He had to deal with authorities being after him. And yet, he always had this spiritual perspective. And it's like he always just, resurrected through these earthly binding things. And I've had so many just with the Saturn, Capricorn, Pluto, Capricorn officials in my life and scenarios and, just things I've had to really have to take care of, in everyday life. And I'm just so burdened down by them. It's like, oh man, it's so hard to live in this earthly body because my mind's always in this other place to bring the vibration up, to want to feel that high vibration. Once you felt it, you're always trying to get that feeling again. And there's nothing wrong with that because we have a standard. But I started to see, all the little things that I was feeling so burdened down by. I thought, you know what? Why don't I just take a look and step back and say, these are the earthbound things that we all have to deal with, not take them so seriously. And some you have to take seriously, but, rise above and say, how can I look at this differently and not let it wipe me out? Because as soon as you start making progress, as soon as you start stepping out in the light and you start really feeling good, that's when it's like you're rattling everyone's cage, because some people like to stay in darkness and like to have control and like to be critical. They like that energy. It feeds them. And for them to believe or have faith or feel good, it's like extremely vulnerable. And then they're not in control. So, how do we balance this out? It's like, kind of like controlling chaos, the chaotic energies, but yet still having your focus and kind of riding the energy in control, like you're riding a horse with reins. If the horse is running off with you and you're hanging off the side of the saddle, you're going to fall if you're not balanced. So we're moving into the next 8 weeks with all this Leo energy. The last 2 weeks, what lessons have you learned? Really, those hard ones. We all got hit hard with some heavy lessons. Can you admit it? Can you make the changes? Can you see? Because, the eclipse really brings it all to light. And the sooner that you can just go, oh yeah, wow, I'm not going to do that again. I'm really going to think about that and really take responsibility for it, is when you can pass to the other side. It's just all about truth. living a truthful awareness. Not that we're perfect in our, human, you know, decline. We deal with humanity. We deal with our physical senses. So we're always at war with those things. And, when you look into astrology, you can really see that, it does give us the answers. So, I just wanted to come on. This is getting a little longer than I wanted it to be. Just some thoughts out there. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you want to leave a comment below, if you want to email me, again, my email will be below just to say hi. Let's talk. I also have readings available. So let's connect, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.